this. You know you can't wear cool-straw shoes. Yes, I can wear cool-straw shoes. My shoes, my feet, nothing big. It's daddy's too. They're daddy's. Got the acting cool-straw daddy. I said, oh Lord, what have I got here now? I got to get Uncle Q-Straw Daddy straight. Who in the world? I know who that is, that man. I know that man before he do himself.
But you had to get it straight.
Yeah. And I don't like spanking children. I don't like it. I never have. I still don't like it. Now, I know Harold and Charles, Thomas and Clarence.
They need
sometimes they need a beating. They do. And they're taking a little bit more from me. But when they see Quincy coming that way, and they, Quincy can put on a pose. You know that's Mr. Q-Straw Johnson. You all know him. And whatnot. And they decide they better straighten up a little bit because and then they be okay for a while, and then they stay okay for the next 2-3 days. But let them go 2-3 weeks, and guys.
They'd be out of control.
Huh?
They'd be out of control.
They think they're out. They're out of control as long as they allow themselves to be out of control. Because if I just make an appearance. Somehow or another, they just so glad to see so and so. Oh, Mr. Q, where you been? So and so and so. We can't get control. We've been trying to locate you. I say to myself, you're lying. We've been trying to locate you. But anyway, whatever they say. But they're grown people.
Right.
You know they're grown people when they're trying to locate me. Look how old I am. And there has been a tremendous distance between me and them because of, the various groups that we're in and the way things were going at that time. And so forth and so on. And I was in this and in that. Well, anyway, that passed by. So, but it's pretty good. The young people, they know how to behave. The young ones do, and some of them don't. And some of the stuff they like to do, and to me, it's a waste of time. They're in their 20s, and you can't get anybody that's under 20 years old in those groups hardly. They were not in there at a certain time, but they know how to carry themselves and behave in a certain way. You expect that. And anybody that kind of out of tune, seems to me they're not quite sure that you're supposed to say good evening when you see somebody. Or try to let the light up a little bit longer or whatever.
You got any questions you want to ask, Diane? You want here, record an answer to?
I was asking Doris about like Grandma Johnson's mother, her name was Mary Bell Burke, right?
Mary Bell, yeah,
Mary Bell Burke. Now, where was she born? In Valdosta?
You mean Helen Johnson's mother? We're going back a long ways now. Valdosta, my mind goes straight to Valdosta, but I'm below Valdosta now. See, during those towns are still growing. During the time that those kids were being born and all of that time.
But she was born in Valdosta. She was born in Valdosta.
That's what I mean, Valdosta. And I used to go to Valdosta as a child. I went to Valdosta like every year as a child. And I knew.
Yeah, because I used to visit. We found out one of the names of her cousins. Cousin Irene. I don't know if you remember that name. Irene.
Cousin who?
Irene. I forgot her maiden name. But they were a family in Valdosta that was kin to Mary Burrell, what was it? Mitchell. Her maiden name was Mitchell. They were Mitchells in Valdosta. There were a lot of the Mitchells.
And I think
one of the uncles owned a funeral home. Y'all used to talk about him.
Probably so.
Yeah, Irons people. They owned a funeral home. Forgot the name of it.
Well, there were some uppity folk that way. And
what was Iron's real name?
Lord have mercy.
What was it?
As well as
Beulah.
As Beulah Bell Smith.
There you go.
That's the first time. I hadn't thought of this name in 30 years. That's
I couldn't remember her married name. Beulah Bell
Smith. Big house there on the River Street and everything,
Yes.
And knows how to
See, she remembered
and
that.
And those were the kind of people we kind
Bell
of came
Smith.
up with.
Said that.
And then there were people that lived on that particular street, lived on certain edges in certain places. And those kids were, not kids or girls, they were in sororities and stuff. And, you know, one or whatever, at that time, most of the girls, well, they were. You were too, no, you hadn't made it then, Now I had got to start,
So your Aunt Beulah Bell, what kind of work did she do?
I don't think Beulah Bell did anything, because see, that was another thing. Like my mother never worked anywhere.
Yeah, I know your mom did. But she was an insurance agent with her dad for a short time.
Or something like that.
Yeah, she did do
the insurance
guaranteed
agent, but that has a little something to it.
Yeah, because Frank Burke was the manager of what? Guaranteed life insurance. He worked in Sandysville.
And see, I didn't realize, but I came from a family, Frank Burke.
Yeah, Frank Burke.
And I got to the point I was getting older, and I would sit there sometime and listen to them. Somehow or another, I'd be waiting for somebody to stop by to pick me up and start listening to what they were saying and whatnot. I was saying, what in the world is that? Who do they expect to do this and that? I know I'm not going to be showing out for sure. Until somebody come and sit me down. Who was it that lived in that place? And they said, Doris, wait a minute. You're getting mixed up with that wrong group. You know that play. You're trying to practice that play. That's not what it is. You just sit there for a minute. You can come back with me, Doris, and wait. So they didn't talk to me. Because I wasn't that way. I didn't act that way. I wasn't around people who acted that way. And we never, and the kids came from one of the good families they call people having good families. That's because their parents had finished high school. Because there was a time during the period of time when the black people, half of the parents had not finished high school. It was a different time in our lives. We were growing up more, but we were trying, the parents or the grandparents and great-grandparents were trying to put theirs up there. It's like my grandmother, Iron, who lived in Collins, Georgia.
She lived in Ireland. You mean Lula Matherine Johnson lived in Collins. Lula Matherine.
She might have too.
That was Quincy's mother.
Quincy's mother?
Her name was Lula.
What?
Lula Golfin Johnson Jackson.
Wait a minute, because I knew the family completely. I knew the Johnson family, and
That
I wouldn't
was,
have fought to go against that Johnson family.
That was Aunt
anyway.
Pearl's and Aunt Mamie's mom was.
Aunt Mamie.
Yeah.
I don't know about Aunt Pearl. Aunt Pearl was what's her son? Anyway.
That was Aunt Pearl was Quincy's sister. That's who our Pearl was named after. Aunt Pearl. Remember Aunt Pearl?
I'll know when I sit down and think about it, because I have it written down.
Mamie, Aunt Pearl,
because Aunt Mamie was one of the oldest of all.
And Annie Lou.
Listen, you can stop there. Annie Lou. Had they started a school in the United States by then? No, I'm just trying to say where we were then.
Yeah.
We were during that time, because I remember a lot of stuff in this country. We were countrified.
Right.
That's the way I see it. I was living in Savannah, and I went to school in Savannah, and I attended things that came down from that Board of Education to the Savannah and so forth. And I attached myself to places like Columbus, Georgia, to make sure I stayed up and so and so. And I would take a class or two. They always had schools that way, and I would take some kind of class. I didn't even say much about it to all of the things that we did, but I took some type of class when we were in that area, you know, during that break. It wasn't a break time, but anyway, we finished high school, so to speak, and everything and all of that. But we were at the place, I guess, where we were steadily growing. Well, we were steadily progressing. I put it that place. We were steadily going, and so and it was a good group, and we had come from families. See, that's it. From families.
Yeah.
Where
You should
parents,
tell about your grandma Quincy's mother. She was strict, wasn't she?
Wait a minute, let me go back. Okay. Grandma Quincy.
Quincy's mother.
Quincy's mother.
In Collins, Georgia.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Grandmama. Grandmama was crazy about us.
Yeah, she was strict though.
She was strict. All of them were strict. They were strict in giving the directions and things
play.
like that and whatnot. But they told us, no,
She
I
didn't
didn't ever
play.
think about grandmama whipping me.
She
Not
didn't
from
have to
cousin.
whip you. When she got to talking to you and telling you what to do, you were scared.
No, I wasn't.
I was
No,
scared.
Well, I didn't have such a, well, I guess I did. Because
Yeah,
I
you did.
intended to be who I was. Because I've said to me, I'm who's.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in, and I decided, well, I said, I'm going to take this situation on a who's base.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked and I said, yeah, so and so. Okay, Doris, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Doris and Primo and some of the other girls that were in that group, that's what we began. That's who we were, like we accustomed to being. We're not going, and of course, Collins is the dead country.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed Collins.
Yeah,
We go there and
it's the dead
grandmama
country.
could cook, and she just loved me.
Yeah.
And Aunt Annie Lou just loved
Aunt
me.
Annie Lou.
And those boys, let me see, I was
Algie. No, Algie.
Harold, Joseph. Oh, especially the big boys.
Yeah.
They were half old enough to think they could court me.
What? Wait a minute, ask this. Who was Big Boy's mama? Was that Annie Lou children?
Yes, somewhere along.
Annie Lou.
It was in that family room, and that's why that family, all of us, that group was treated very well. That group of people, the family group of Iron, with Iron's group and everything.
Yeah.
None of us, we might have been crazy. We weren't crazy to go there. And your grandmama had all of that land and
Yeah, she
all
did
of
have
those
it
pecan
all.
trees. And you think about
happened
something
to
over here,
it?
this cleaner's here. So and so's cleaners did this, and she needed, so they needed to do thus and so that, and she stopped and said, Doris, come here and help this man. Well, I wasn't in no cleaning business, but I knew I was intelligent. I was
Because Aunt Pearl lived on some of that land in the house. I don't know what
Pearl
happened
was
to
younger
it.
than I.
No, I mean Aunt Pearl. That's your
Oh,
grandma.
well, Aunt Pearl was